In this video, I want to take some time to help you understand the system of equations. Now, you might remember these from Algebra 2. System of equations. And the way this might look is if we did one where we said x plus y equals 30. Okay? That's one equation, two unknowns. And we remember from algebra that you cannot solve one equation with two unknowns to a distinct answer. But if we knew that 2x plus 3y equals 80, now we might be able to solve it. This is two equations. The x is the same in both. The y is the same in both. So let's see, there's two ways that we might go about solving it. So for the first way, what we'll do is look at how we can do these equations. So if I have a 2x here, and let's say I'm solving for y, then what I would do is multiply this whole row by 2. That would give me 2x plus 2y equals, and then that would be 2 times 30 would be 60. So now what I'm able to do is subtract the x's. I multiplied that by 2, so that gets 2x minus 2x. What I'm doing is subtracting one equation from the other. It would look like this now. 2x plus 2y equals 60, and then it would be 2x plus 3y equals 80. So now when we subtract the two equations, the x's go away, and I get 2 minus 3y is going to be a minus y is equal to 60 minus 80 is a minus 20, so y equals 20. So I could plug it back in up here and say if y is equal to 20, that means x had to be equal to 10. You could try it in the next equation. 2 times 10 would be 20. 3 times 20 would be 60. 60 plus 20 would be 80, so it checks. I wanted you to see that's one way of working it. Now, another way that we can do is the substitution method. And a lot of you may know that better or may like that. It just doesn't matter. As long as you do it right, you're going to get the answer correct. And since they ask us, in this little example, to solve for y, what we would do is leave y in the equation. I would go to this one. It looks like the easiest one to work with. And I would rewrite this so that I would say x is equal to 30 minus y. That leaves my y in the equation, and it lets me substitute x out of the equation. So now I would take this equation. I would have 2 times 30 minus y plus 3y equals 80. Yeah. Now I go ahead and multiply this through, and I get 60 minus 2y plus 3y equals 80. Subtract 60 from both sides, and I'm going to get a minus 2y plus y gives me just a plain y is equal to 20, which is the same thing we got before. Now, this is just giving you a quick little example. What I want to do now is let you look at the screen, and you should see a problem on the screen. On the way to a family camping weekend, the Estradas stopped at a roadside stand to purchase firewood. The stand sold bundles of pine firewood for $2 a bundle and bundles of hickory firewood for $4 a bundle. The Estradas purchased a total of 25 bundles of pine firewood and hickory firewood for $66. How many bundles of pine firewood did the Estradas purchase? Problem. And as we do, the first thing I want you to notice is that the pine bundles are $2 a bundle, hickory was $4, and the total we spent was $66. Now we're going to use a P for pine and an H for hickory. You always want to use a letter of the alphabet that represents what you're working with. So now our first equation deals with the amount. It deals with the amount in money. Our second equation is dealing with the count of items. And you can see that we bought 25 total bundles, so that means our pine plus our hickory was 25. Now in this particular case, they asked me for how many pine bundles we bought. So I'm going to substitute this time, and I get hickory is equal to 25 minus P. So I come back down and I multiply it out. 2P plus 4 times 25 minus P, which is my expression for H, is equal to 66. Now I have 2P plus 100 is going to equal 66, and that gives me a minus 100 from both sides, and I end up with 2p minus 4p is a minus 2p equals a minus 34. Now when we divide both sides by negative 2, we get p is equal to 17, making C the answer. Okay, so now what you want to do is, I've got another one on the screen now. And on this one, I want you to go ahead and look at it, and now we're going to get started. I'm going to talk back through this one. First of all, we see that we have, at a buffet restaurant, the price for a dinner for an adult is $6.95, and the price for dinner for a child is $3.95. A group of 8 people went to the restaurant for dinner and paid a total of $46.60, excluding tax and tip. How many adults were in the group? Now let's see if we can start to pick this up as we go. When we watched this, the first thing we did is we noticed that the price that we're paying for a child is $3.95. Okay, this goes into my equation for the amount. Adults pay $6.95, and altogether we spent $46.60. So that equation would be this: $3.95C plus $6.95A equals $46.60. Now the next equation we look at is, it told us a group of 8 people went. So that means my children plus my adults had to total 8. Now I come back and I'm going to do this equation by substitution again. And so to do that, the first thing I'll do is write the equation C. We're going to write the equation C is equal to 8 minus A. Now we continue on. We're going to substitute that in. $3.95 times 8 minus A plus $6.95 times A is equal to $46.60. That means now I'm going to have $3.95 times 8, that's going to be $31.60, minus $3.95A plus $6.95A is equal to $46.60. So we're going to subtract the $31.60 from both sides. That gives me $15 on the right. I also have a negative $3.95A and a plus $6.95A, which gives me just 3A equals 15, making A equal 5, or D is the answer. Okay? Now, on this next one, what I want you to do is look at this, and I'm going to give you 1 minute to work on this one. I want you to look at this one and work through it. Then I'll go through it, and let's see if you're finally getting the hang of these. So take a minute and begin. Okay, so let's look back at the question. The junior class at Silverwood High School sponsored a costume party. Each student wearing a costume paid $2 admission, and each student not wearing a costume paid $5 admission. An amount of $4.89 was collected from the 150 students who paid admission. How much was collected from the students not wearing a costume? Okay, so one of the things, this is a little bit different. We're going to calculate the number of students not wearing a costume, then we've got to multiply that back by the $5 that they paid. That's the only little twist to this one. So we set it up again. As we look at this, we're going to review our information again. Each student not wearing a costume paid $5. Okay? So now we see that we paid $2 admission for those wearing a costume and $5 for those not wearing a costume. And altogether, this totaled $489. So we'd write that, and then we get the next one where it tells us 150 students paid. So hopefully you notice that that's going to be C plus N is 150. Now I'm taking a little different twist this time, and I'm just going to multiply that second equation by 2. So I'll have a 2C plus 2N equals 300. I'm going to subtract the blue equation, the second one. And now my C's go away, and I just get 3N equals 189. And when you divide 189 by 3, you get 63 for N, making the answer 315, because 63 times 5 is 315, or G. All right, now we're going to go to our last one. This is another example, and I want you to do the same thing in this one, and let's see what you get on this one. Now this one says, as a fundraiser, a local youth group sold boxes of regular popcorn for $5 each and caramel for $8 each. Altogether, they sold 160 boxes for $1,100. So we write that equation, 5R plus 8C equals 1,100. That got the amount out of the way. Now the count of items. We sold 160 boxes, so R plus C is 160. Now on this one, once again, I'm showing you both ways. We'll multiply this by the 5 to cancel out the equations, because they ask us how many boxes of caramel did we sell. So now our second equation becomes 5R plus 5C equals 800. And we're going to subtract that one from the upper equation. And this will give us no R's, because we subtracted those out. 3C equals 300. And that's going to make, when you divide both sides by 3, that makes C equal to 100, or E is the answer to 25. Hopefully by now you've got a much better idea on how to do these system of equation problems. And look forward to seeing how well you do on the test. Now, maybe you can watch another one of the math videos.